Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. So lovely to chat to you.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me.
Maybe you could kick off with just a really brief intro to American Eid. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, definitely. American Eid is a story about a 9-year-old Amina who just immigrated from Pakistan, and she wakes up on Eid to find out that the holiday that means so much to her, you don't get a day off for here in America in her new home. So she's kind of homesick and heartbroken, and she goes on this journey to make Eid a public holiday at her school.
And, what motivated you to want to be part of, this incredible program that's over 1,000 people applying and, you were selected. So what made you want to be part of it and what was the experience like for you?
For me, the biggest thing was, what Disney, I grew up with Disney. That's all I had. Like, apart from Bollywood, all I had growing up was Disney. So the impact, I grew up in Kuwait. My dad was from Pakistan, mom from Sri Lanka. So I grew up daughter of South Asians in Kuwait. And the fact that Disney reached to us and had such an impact on me growing up, I realized the power of it. And I was like, and everything that I grew up watching was very much like the Western side of the world. Everything was about that. I learned so much about that part of the world. So I was like, it's about time that we can use the same platform and educate this side of the world about things that was special to me, or special to my culture and religion. And I just think the Disney platform is so global and so powerful. And you can reach so many people and tell them what means to you, what means to me as a Muslim, as a South Asian. And I think that is what motivated me to just even apply. And I'm so lucky to be selected.
And what made you land on this particular story? Obviously, there's so many different ways you can, I guess, expose other young kids or other people to this part of your culture. But, why did you decide on this particular story?
There's definitely two sides to that. The first is that I immigrated here when I was 21, turning 22, and I immigrated alone. So I didn't have a community. I didn't have my family here, and every Eid was I felt so alone. I just felt like I wasn't home, because nobody around me even knew what it was, and it was just all of a sudden crickets. Whereas back home it was like such a big thing, and so and adding to that is like, so far we have learned that immigrant story has been about assimilation. It's about you accepting your new home. But I feel like we have reached a phase where we have to tell stories about the home accepting you for who you are. The immigrant story isn't just a one-way street, it's a two-way street. And me being able to tell this story and educating even the Disney family about Eid. Like, I got so many texts on Eid saying Eid Mubarak, and I just finally felt like I was home. And finally felt like the home accepted me for who I am. So those two sides were definitely the heart behind the story, the engine behind the story.
Do you think things are shifting? Do you think that there's greater representation in sort of film and TV in general? Or do you think programs like this show that, there's still more that needs to be done, but that, we're going in the right direction at least?
I totally think the journey has started, which I'm very thankful for, but I definitely think we still have a long way to go. And that's why programs like this is so important, because they give platform to underrepresented voices. The biggest thing that's hindering underrepresented voices is that nobody is willing to take the chance, because it's so risky, or it's like not normal. Like, who do we want to be the first one to shatter the glass? Those are the questions that come up. So programs like this just go like, okay, look, there is a world, there is an audience for it. And that is so important to show, because at the end of the day, it boils down to that, right? The numbers. So if by making programs like this, you reach to the world and the world's receptive, you automatically show that the world's ready for movies and stories like this.
And particularly, I suppose, having it in such a mainstream platform like Disney, because perhaps we do see, independent movies, kind of smaller TV shows, you might see, more underrepresented groups, but not so much in the mainstream. So is that really the big thing to tackle?
Exactly. That's the most important thing. Growing up, for example, the thing that reached to me was Disney, right? It was like blockbuster movies in the theaters and Disney on TV. So inherently like independent movies and documentaries were like art museums to us. It didn't exist where we were. Art museums only exist in like privileged neighborhoods for a reason, right? Those are the people. They're not targeting, they're not going into every neighborhood or every country. And so in order to reach the mass audience, you need a mass platform. And you know, and through that, through storytelling, you can educate so much. It's like you're Trojan horsing a message, but through a story. And preach. And I feel like storytelling goes so much far than preaching. You can tell somebody so much more with so much more impact about your culture and religion than just like, here's a Wikipedia article of what Eid is. You know, it's more human.
I think I'm out of time, but thank you so much for sharing all that and for this beautiful film, which I think is really educational as well as being really entertaining. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah.